Get your DNA tested. That's where the adventure really begins. If you're getting your DNA tested just for your ethnicity, you're going to be in for a rude awakening. And you're going to be missing out on 99% of the fun and excitement that testing provides. Now, depending on your testing company, your ethnicity will literally be all over the map. And every year, your testing company will change your ethnicity. Good luck with that. The best part of DNA testing are the cousin matches that you'll get. Those matches will allow you to validate your family tree and shake all the skeletons out of the closets. Now, even if you're not interested, get tested for that special someone in your life who's documenting your family history. Shh! DNA never lies. Some people would like to think the DNA companies can make mistakes. They don't. Some people would like to hope that the DNA results are wrong. Sorry, no. DNA makes the connections when paper records don't even exist. The answers you're looking for won't be found in any dusty old books. DNA reveals the facts that may have been intentionally hidden and explains how you're connected to everyone else. Because DNA never lies. Shh. Your ancestors lied. Your parents probably lied when they said, "Don't have sex before marriage." We didn't. I call BS. If you look at your family tree, you can figure out the shotgun weddings. Take the birth date of the firstborn, minus the marriage date, and oops, you do the math. Then your family starts lying about those dates, not knowing that eventually the genealogists in the family will have access to those records. A family tree based on lies is a work of fiction. It's up to us genealogists to find the facts, whatever they may be. We are all cousins. We're all descended from the same small pool of modern humans. We are all from Africa. If someone tells you a different story, then they have an agenda. I don't care what color your skin is, what your politics, or your religion. We are literally family, and we need to start acting like family. I'm done. I'm out of here. You are genetically unique, even if you are a twin. At conception, you were dealt a random set of DNA. Sometimes that DNA matches other people, like your cousins, and sometimes it doesn't match, even if you expect it to. DNA inheritance is not perfect. That's why you don't look like your siblings, unless of course you are an identical twin. Now your mom and dad will always give you 50% of their DNA, but there are some random events. Let's represent mom's DNA with 100 cards, 50 red and 50 blue. Her DNA inheritance from her parents. She's going to shuffle them and randomly give you 50 of those cards. Dad is going to give you 50 of his cards. Together, that's you. Now pick up all the cards and reshuffle. Deal out 50 cards from each parent to your sibling. It's highly unlikely that they'll get the same cards as you. Now, what if mom's deal to you stack the deck in favor of her father. When it comes time for you to get your DNA matches, you're going to get more matches from your mother's father's side than from your mother's side. Short story long, it makes a lot of sense to get your siblings' DNA tested also. They will have inherited different chunks of DNA from mom and dad, and that will provide potentially different matches. Now, more matches translates to a more complete picture of your ancestry. The amount of DNA that you share with a match is measured in centimorgans. This is represented with a little c and a big M. The amount that you share can be roughly translated into how you're related to your match. For example, a parent and child will share about 3,400 centimorgans. Third cousins will share about 53 centimorgans. There's a great chart at the International Society of Genetic Genealogists that provides a reference. Take a look at this link, or try this QR code. Got it? Okay. Now imagine that you and your match share 106 centimorgans. If you're both the same generation, that may mean that you're half second cousins. But if you're different generations, it may mean that you're second cousins once removed. That's your parent's second cousin. But what if you share 265 centimorgans? This falls between cousin categories. It may mean that you have a double cousin. So the first portion, 212 centimorgans, represents second cousin. Plus an additional 53 centimorgans represents a third cousin match. It happens. I'm proof.
More matches mean more adventures and more opportunities to solve family history mysteries. All DNA testing companies will allow you to download your DNA results, and you should, just for safekeeping. There are a number of companies that will allow you to upload your DNA results for free. Ancestry is not one of them. Companies that I use are Family Tree DNA, MyHeritage, and GEDmatch. GEDmatch provides the most tools for analyzing and comparing your DNA results for free. And for an extra fee, you get even more tools. Now for the testing companies that we actually pay for, they should get off their collective asses and learn from GEDmatch to provide more analysis tools. Because more uploads to more sites means more matches, period. I think this is my turn over here.
Family trees are the core of genealogy, and they allow you to journey back in time. I like Ancestry because it has the largest number of DNA users and the largest number of family trees. I dislike Ancestry because most of their family trees are crap. That said, the family tree interface at Ancestry is still better than every other DNA testing site. So, I use Ancestry to fix and build everyone else's tree. Ancestry allows me to build as many family trees as I want, and I do. If I find a DNA match with a partial tree, I'll take any good connection from that tree and add it to one of my scratch pad trees, and then I'll build a complete tree for my match. The only way I'm going to figure out how my match is related to me is by extending their tree until it intersects my own. Now, if you're having trouble building your family tree, ask for help. There are plenty of people and resources out there that will help you on your journey for free. You need a DNA reference tree. This can be your main family tree, or it can be a specialty built tree. This tree should have you, all your DNA matches, and it will serve as a map between all the interconnecting families. Using the reference tree and using shared matches, you'll be able to identify that next mystery DNA match with no family tree. How many centimorgans do they share? Who are they related to? Look at the reference tree and bingo, that's where they go. Your DNA matches are going to find this whole DNA thing a little bit confusing. They don't know how much to share about themselves or their families. Every DNA website has a process for contacting your matches. So reach out and introduce yourself. Tell them a little bit about your family history journey. Briefly, no life stories here. And then maybe they'll open up and share something you need, either to make the connection or to solve some common goal. You never know until you ask. The best genealogy journeys start when others join the quest. So get off your ass and make contact. Imagine your next DNA match is an adoptee. You need to adopt an adoptee and take them under your wing. They're absolutely a cousin, and that means they're family. You might be their best chance at figuring out who their birth parents are. I've helped dozens of adoptees, many of them starting out as my own DNA match, and these have been some of the most exciting and rewarding adventures I've ever been on. People say I'm a dog with a bone, but you need to be tenacious and never stop researching. I don't always find what I'm looking for, but that doesn't deter me. I'll just take a break and try again later. Perhaps I just need to wait for that next DNA match or for that next document to get digitized, but I always come back. Some of the non-paternal event or brick wall puzzles have taken me years to solve, but eventually I get there, and so will you. Never stop researching. There's always more family to find. How do you tell someone they have a non-parental event in their family? Gently, if possible. If that person's an adoptee, they probably already know that they're part of an event. For every adoptee, there's a family or two who may not even know that the event took place. In the case of Hanky Panky, the child of that infidelity may not even know. I find I need to lead people to the conclusion for themselves. In the case where someone has asked me to find more information about their grandfather using DNA, I might find that there's no genetic connection to that grandfather. I'll start with, you have no DNA matches with those surnames. Then let that sink in. Or if I'm talking to an adoptee's bio family, I'll say, I'm working with an adoptee with a very strong DNA connection to your family. Then let that sink in. Give them time to get there. Let them ask the next question. No matter how gently you proceed, there'll always be people who just don't get it, who don't want to accept the facts. But there'll be even more family who will be overjoyed by the answers. Okay, get settled. In today's class, we're going to talk about the transitive law of genetic genealogy. Imagine you have a DNA match to person A. We'll call them Andy. And you have a DNA match to person B. We'll call them Bob. Now, when you look at your shared matches for Andy, you see Bob on the list of people with DNA in common. If A equals B and B equals C, you're C, then A equals C. There's a very high probability that you, Andy, and Bob all share a common ancestor. Now, if Andy and Bob have really good family trees, you should be able to go back in time and find a common great-grandparent, etc. That great-grandparent is probably also your ancestor. Now, most of the time when we make these connections, it's obvious what the relationship is to us. But sometimes we say, well, wait a minute, I know all my great-grandparents, and that's not one of them. Surprise! You're going to need a bigger tree. Questions? No? Class dismissed. Some family history sites like Ancestry and MyHeritage allow you to color code and tag your DNA matches. If you haven't done this yet, stop watching and go do it. I'll wait. Ancestry provides 24 colors, and MyHeritage provides 30 colors and tags. Okay, Ancestry and MyHeritage, if you're listening to this right now, I need more colors. I have a lot of branches to tag. All you other websites out there, get off your ass and make color tagging available. Okay, we're back from commercial. Where was I? Oh yeah, colors and tags. As I figure out how my DNA match fits into my family history mystery, I'll tag it with a color and a surname. If I get a bunch of matches that all share DNA with each other, but I can't figure out what surname they go with, I'll tag them with a mystery group. When I get my next DNA match, I just use shared matches and look at the color tags, and I can immediately figure out where they belong. All those mystery groups that I've been collecting, I'll be able to use those to solve non-parental events or uncover other hidden secrets. One of the best things you can do for your family tree is to validate all the branches using DNA. If you're like me, my first family tree was based on anecdotes and genealogical records only, good, bad, or otherwise. For every surname in your tree, you should be able to use DNA matches to confirm the connection. You should be able to validate 5 or 6 generations back. If you can't validate, you should consider getting your siblings or cousins tested to get a more diverse set of DNA matches. If you still can't validate after that, you might have a hidden adoption or illegitimacy issue. You probably have a genetic gap in your tree. You know, it's probably time to break out those mystery group matches and take a look at the means, motive, and opportunity to fill those gaps. Have you ever been your own worst enemy? Have you ever overlooked a clue on a digital image? I have. I tell myself, self, I'll get back to that later. And then it's a long time before I ever do. You need to wake up and smell the coffee. You need to take the time to read all the fine print on digital images. Little things like street address or what cemetery they were buried in. One time on a Scottish marriage record, the wife's parents were missing. I didn't think much of it. On US records, parents are missing all the time, but the Scottish are a bit more meticulous. The lack of parents on the record meant that the wife didn't know who her parents were. I should have seen the potential for a non-parental event years ago, but I missed it. Every word, or lack of a word, is a clue. I'm going to rant a little bit about Ancestry family trees. Is your family tree healthy? Too many people build their family trees by copying other people's trees. Zero references. I see people trying to make a connection from a child to parents based on name only. Ooh, that name looks close enough. Those must be my great-grandparents. No. A little more research would have shown the child in the birth record used died a few years later and couldn't have been your ancestor. Please try to make as many record references as possible. Otherwise, your family tree looks like a Frankenstein's monster where the parts just don't fit. Double and triple check your connections before you move on. And, okay, no more stumps. Fill something in. You're making way too much work for me. I'm done. I'll get off my soapbox now. Sometimes we get stuck researching an ancestor. I like to switch to researching the youngest or oldest sibling in the family. Perhaps your ancestor had a nickname or a transcription error in the record. By following the sibling, you might be able to find the record you're looking for. Or, try following a neighbor. Perhaps you can't find your family on the particular census. Look for their neighbor on that census, and maybe your family still lives next door. Also, when you're looking at digital record images, always click the Next and Previous button. There's always more information on the back side of that digital image. Digital records might be double-sided or multi-page, yet the hint you receive will only point to the first page. There's always more than one way to find what you're looking for. Shine a light on the skeletons in your closet. The facts need to be revealed. One person's dirty laundry is another person's life-changing revelation. It might be as simple as how they died, like my great-great-uncle who chased his wife around with a lit stick of dynamite, or that they spent time in an orphanage, asylum, whorehouse, or jail. Your ancestor could have been a serial bigamist, or legally had a dozen wives. The skeletons are exciting and endless. On your family history journey, you need to shine the light into all the dark corners and expose the hidden history, but do it gently.